Palestine, a land of old olive trees and sunny hills. This region, with its picturesque landscapes, has been a cradle of civilization for thousands of years. The olive trees, some of which are centuries old, stand as silent witnesses to the passage of time and the many stories that have unfolded here. A place where important people from history lived and where religions began. The ancient cities and sacred sites tell tales of prophets, kings, and empires. From the bustling streets of Jerusalem to the serene shores of the Dead Sea, every corner of this land holds a piece of history. It's a place full of history, with a bright culture, and home to people known for never giving up. The vibrant cultural festivals, the traditional music and dance, and the rich culinary heritage all speak to a community that cherishes its roots and traditions. The daily life in Palestinian towns is a blend of the old and the new, where modernity meets tradition. But today, Palestine is known mostly for conflict, a place where old fights still echo. The streets, once filled with the sounds of daily life, now often resonate with the sounds of unrest. The historical conflict zones serve as a stark reminder of the ongoing struggles and the deep-seated tensions that have shaped the region's modern history. For many years, Palestinians have lived with difficult things like losing their homes and fighting for their own country. The images of families fleeing their homes in 1948, carrying whatever they could, are etched in the collective memory of the Palestinian people. The protests, a cry for justice and recognition, continue to this day, reflecting the enduring spirit of resistance. The main problem is that Palestinians were forced to leave their land. This displacement has left deep scars, both physically and emotionally. The abandoned homes, once filled with laughter and life, now stand as silent testaments to the loss and longing that many Palestinians feel. This started in the early 1900s and got much worse in 1948 when Israel became a country. The early 20th century saw the seeds of conflict being sown, but it was the events of 1948 that truly changed the course of Palestinian history. The establishment of Israel led to widespread displacement and the beginning of a conflict that continues to this day. Palestinians call this the Nakba, or catastrophe. Every year, Palestinians around the world commemorate the Nakba, remembering the pain and loss of 1948. The term Nakba encapsulates the sense of catastrophe and the profound impact it had on Palestinian society. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians had to leave their homes. The refugee camps, initially set up as temporary shelters, have become permanent homes for many. The black and white photos of refugees carrying their belongings and looking for safety tell a story of resilience and hope amidst adversity. Today, millions of Palestinians live as refugees, spread all over the world. These communities, whether in the Middle East, Europe, or the Americas, have managed to preserve their identity and culture despite being far from their homeland. The modern refugee camps, though improved in infrastructure, still reflect the ongoing struggle for a place to call home. Those still living in their homeland face hard times every day. They can't move around freely, their land is taken away, and they don't have much of what they need to live. The checkpoints, the confiscated lands, and the daily restrictions are a constant reminder of the challenges faced by Palestinians in their own land. Despite these hardships, the spirit of the people remains unbroken. This fighting, which started a long time ago, affects everything about Palestinian life today. From the children who grow up amidst the conflict, to the elders who have witnessed decades of strife, the impact is profound and far-reaching. Yet, amidst the challenges, there is a sense of hope and a longing for peace that continues to drive the Palestinian people forward. Imagine if someone controlled everything you did, every step you take, every move you make, watched and monitored. Imagine checkpoints everywhere, making a simple trip to the store a big problem. Long lines of cars, people waiting for hours just to get through. This is what life is like for Palestinians. Every day is a struggle, filled with uncertainty and hardship. Children play amidst the ruins, trying to find joy in a world that seems to have forgotten them. The West Bank is divided by Israeli settlements and military checkpoints. These divisions create barriers not just of land, but of opportunity and hope. This makes it hard for Palestinians to go to work, school, or the doctor. Imagine having to pass through multiple checkpoints just to get to your job or to seek medical help. In Gaza, things are even worse. The cityscape is marked by damaged buildings and people walk through rubble daily. Gaza is a small area next to the sea and it's been blocked off for over 10 years. The blockade has isolated Gaza, cutting it off from the rest of the world. It's like a big open-air prison. The streets are overcrowded and the buildings are packed tightly together, leaving little room for anything else. Things like clean water, electricity, and medicine are hard to find. Children collect water from communal taps and families use candles during frequent power outages. The recent fighting has made things even worse, leaving Gaza in ruins and its people needing help. Humanitarian aid workers do what they can, but the need is overwhelming. The saddest part of this fighting is what happens to the children. They are the innocent victims, caught in a conflict they have no control over. Their lives are turned upside down, and their futures are uncertain. They don't have normal childhoods. Instead, they live with fear, sadness, and scary memories. Every day is a struggle for survival, and the simple joys of childhood are lost to them. Imagine growing up with the sounds of fighting all the time, always afraid of bombs falling from the sky. The constant noise of explosions and gunfire becomes a part of their daily lives, robbing them of peace and security. Amina, a 10-year-old girl from Gaza, remembers hiding at night as bombs fell near her home. She would cling to her mother, trembling with fear as the ground shook with each explosion. Her family's house was destroyed, showing how terrible the fighting is. They lost everything they had, and now they have to start over with nothing. Amina's story is not the only one. All over Palestine, children like her are caught in a fight they didn't start. They are forced to grow up too fast, dealing with trauma and loss at a young age. They don't have real childhoods, they can't go to school, and they don't know what will happen to them. Education, which should be a basic right, becomes a distant dream. Their futures are overshadowed by the ongoing conflict, leaving them with little hope. Even with all these problems, Palestinians haven't given up hope. They still want freedom and their own country. From peaceful protests to asking for help around the world, Palestinians are speaking up. They want the fighting to stop and a fair solution. Palestinian artists, writers, and musicians are sharing their stories and showing the world what's really happening. The BDS movement, which stands for Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions, is a worldwide effort. Like the fight against apartheid in South Africa, it asks people and businesses to put pressure on Israel to follow international law. People all over the world are supporting Palestine. From students to big organizations, people are asking for justice. People who work for human rights, teachers, and regular people are joining together to help Palestine. They want people to take responsibility, change rules, and learn about what's happening there. This support from around the world shows that people everywhere want justice and peace. Justice for Palestine means that Palestinians have the right to live safely and freely. It means fixing the bad things that have happened to them for so long and making sure their voices are heard by important people. Getting justice is hard, but not impossible. By continuing to speak up, fighting in court, and talking with other countries, the goal is to make a future where Palestinians can live normally, without fear. Palestinians and their supporters all over the world dream of a peaceful future. They imagine a place where children can grow up without violence, where families can be happy, and where everyone lives in peace. To make this happen, everyone needs to work together, never give up, and always believe in fairness and equality. Together, we can help build a better, more peaceful future for Palestine.